Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Lisa, and today I'm going to be making some fabric tassels. I made this one and this one. This one I used beads and a charm pin and a ball pin to just make a simple little charm. Put that on the other side. There we go. Make it go forward. Little moon and heart and blue. For that, and then this one I used one of my ribbon clasps. I've used them to attach to paper before, but that worked, and I put a little like a what do they call those, palm reader hands. I thought those were kind of boho-y kind of colors. I thought that was kind of cool for that. But yeah, so I'm gonna show you how I did these. And if you haven't seen, the reason I did this is because I got one of those chindi rugs from Five Below, and I've got 6,000 pieces of fabric, and yeah, so this is, I could probably make about 1 million little tassels from the pile. But yeah, so we're gonna have some fun today. So I have pulled together, first off, I pulled together some pink ones, pink-ish colors. I have ripped some strips already, but I just want to show you what I did, and I haven't ripped this one yet. I think I didn't rip this one yet, but I did, when I did those first two, one of them had, this one I think has 4 strips. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ooh. If I could count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, 5 strips. I did 5 strips on that. I think I did 5 strips on this one. Yeah, 5 strips. So I have 1, 2, I have 4 already. So 5 seemed to be a good amount for them. But of course you could do more or less if you wanted to. All right, so the way I did these, and it's kind of hard to tell, I'd say 9 out of 10 that I did on that first 2 ripped. One of them didn't, I had to cut. But what I did is I looked at to see which end looked like it had been frayed and ripped already, and that was the end I started with. And all I did was take my scissors and cut about a 1/2 inch wide and 1/2 inch up, and then go to tear it. And sometimes they tore real easy, like this one. Sometimes you really got to put your back into it and cut them. But that is all I did for them. And so you see, that's one piece for a tassel, that's one piece, how many tassels, and then if you saw that bag, yeah, I got a ton of stuff. So all right, so the next thing I did was I used these, I'm not sure if they're called, I think they're called eye pins. They had a circle on the end. I got these to make dangle charms. When Joann's was closing, I stocked up on a bunch, and I think I have different lengths, but I figured you got to go with the longest, probably one of the longest ones you can find. So I'd like to find one that's more in the, yeah, darker color. There we go. And again, I got enough. All right, so you can use these, or you can use their head pins on the end, or if you just want to use a piece of wire, that'll work. These are strong enough to bend. You don't want thin wire for this. So all I did was laid these out. Got white string on there. Laid these out, no particular order. Oh, and by the time, when I ripped them about 12 inches. That was kind of my thought, because when they get folded in half, they're about 6 inches. Now some are longer than others, some are shorter, so you can obviously go ahead and after it's folded and put on the thing, you can go ahead and trim some if you like for that. Okay, so that is going to be my 5 strips all in a row. So I'm going to put this bottom part around the fabric, and if you have a pin head, you would do that too, because we want this top part to be able to string some beads on when all is said and done. I do have some jewelry making tools. I don't know exactly what they're called. I do remember that I got them in a set of 4 from Joann Fabrics years ago, and yeah, so they're just random ones like pliers, like circular ones, flat ones, etc. So I'm going to get these out of there. I'm going to take this one with the curvy pointy things. I don't know what they're called. And I'm going to just fold this up into a U, kind of leave like a fish hook, so that I can put this fabric in here. Now I'm going to put the fabric in there, and I didn't make the U big enough, but it'll be okay. I'll be able to work it. See that part coming up there? And I'm just going to take, and I'm going to, I should be able to with my hand flip this down, but if it's too thick, you want to take a tool and fold it down. There we go. That should help. Whoops. All right, get in there. Get in there, little guy. All right, I'm just going to take that circle end, and I'm going to fold it up. So it doesn't have to be pretty, because it's going to get hidden a lot by the bead that's up on the top there. All right, so I'm just going to fold that down, and I'm going to take my flatter ones and squish it together so that it is tightly wrapped around. Okay, so there it is. Now, of course, I made it a little lopsided, but that's okay. I was fighting with it. I can trim this down to make it the same height, or if I was really desperate, I could probably, yeah, see, these are not moving. They're in there tight. I could undo it and shift it back, but I'll probably end up just cutting this a little bit shorter to make a shorter tassel. As it is about 5 inches to that short part, so that's okay. All right, so the next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna find some beads to put on here. Okay, so I've got some pinkish beads. I do have a whole container of colored beads that I can pick from. I did pick ones that had a little bit bigger holes, so that they could kind of go down and hopefully get part of that part of the wire stuck into it. If you squeeze it enough, that hopefully it will go and kind of cover it a little bit. And then I got a second one that's just going to be able to hold it down. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the round guy and we're going to make a loop that we're going to end up putting a jump ring on. And the jump ring is just a circular thing. Now, you don't have to. If you want to do the rounding, you can then put your bulb pin on there. But I like the extra little bit, so it hangs a little bit, I think, straighter for it. Okay. All right, so we're gonna continue to fold this up. There we go. And I'm keeping the O-ring up on top. Oops, there we go. And we just put it in, grab, and there we go. So there's the little O-ring piece. Now, technically, I could do the loopy thing and then add the O-ring afterwards. If you're more comfortable with that, you could do that. I'm just gonna put this. So there is my circle, and there is the O-ring. So if you want to put, close that up. I'm always afraid to not close these because there's so many little pieces in there that if this flew off, it would be a disaster to clean up. Okay, so we're going to grab a bulb pin. Take a couple out for now. And then if I want to add a charm to this, I can And I do have the, that'd be pretty, it's like a lotus flower. Okay, I like that one. All right, so there's two ways to do this. You can obviously put the charm on the ball pin and just add it to the jump ring. Close that up. And there you go, it's like that. Or we can add it to the jump ring itself. And I'll show you how to do that. This is a tiny, I probably should have made a bigger jump ring to show it. All right, so we're just gonna take, and we're gonna grab jump ring. I use a circular one. Jump ring on one side. It's hard to see, but there's a slot that it opens on top, and we're gonna take something else to hold the other side. And we're just gonna twist it sideways. You don't want to pull it open because that weakens the metal. Twisting it doesn't weaken the metal as much. All right, we're gonna slip the, hopefully I opened it enough. No, gotta open just a little bit more. Should have probably had a bigger jump ring for this, but there we go. I've opened it. Hopefully you can see that. And we're gonna slide that on, and all we need to do is bend it back so that the circle is back to being completed. And there we go. So now put that on the jump ring. And now that is hanging just a little bit lower. I think it looks a little bit nicer myself for that. Now I have, once I attach this to some sort of journal, I like to also pinch with these flat tools, I like to pinch the bulb closed so it doesn't pop open. But I'm not gonna do that now. All right, so we're gonna trim that down, give it a little haircut. Of course, I'll save these little pieces to add as, I got a little pile here, as glued to tags. But there it is. Now, if you wanted to get even extra fancier, you could probably like tie some knots on these on the bottom or something like that. Cut them at an angle. These pieces of fabric are a little thick. You probably could, if you had some really big-eyed, and I'm not sure if I have one. I have one's different color. This is not the right color, but if you had a really big-eyed kind of a, I should, let's see if this will push that through. Push. There we go. If you have big-eyed beads, you could slide some on and then knot it below it and have a bead hanging on there. That would be an option. But that does not go with it. I don't think I have any big pink ones. But yeah, that is all there is to that. So now I've got a pink one. Now it does leave a bunch of little fray things, but I think once this part kind of is done and it's worked on, it's not as bad. Probably have to cut a few frays off maybe as you go. Like I see this right here is weirdly cut. I'm just going to trim that off. There we go. But it just leads to the charm of junkiness, right? Okay, now I'm going to make the one with my clasps here because I did that paper thing, and I just mentioned that. So I know some of you said you had some of these ribbon clasp things, so I figured let's give it a shot. Okay, for the ribbon clasp one, I've decided to do a purple, and I haven't ripped any of these, so I'm probably going to rip them off camera just because it takes a while, but I'm just going to again show you. We'll start with one and go from there. All right, so this one is just a haphazard of a mess. As you can see, it's kind of crazy, but I think I'm going to start from this side. Almost looks like two fabrics here. This is more crinkly. That one's less crinkly. We're going to start from this one. Now, there's a couple of them that I would do this tear and rip, and it would just do that because it wasn't straight. But all you got to do is just start another piece, because it always tears straight on the material. But as it goes, as it gets a little longer, because the material was not cut straight to begin with. This one should be long enough. There we go. Beautiful. That'll work. Again, little pieces to hang on to. And there is that. Now, when I was going through these to find colors, I was also thinking I probably should go through and sort that bag by color. Because there's so many there that if I'm looking for something in particular. But I don't know if that's going to be worth it. All right, that one is being difficult. Let's get this out of the way before I lose it. Let's start from this end. Like I said, some of these are not meant to really tear. And some of them you really gotta put your back into them. There we go. The other thing is, I forgot to say, there's usually, a lot of these have the salvage edge, and that's where they put it in the machine. It's got the little dots on it. It's a little thicker. I was cutting those off because I didn't want the salvage edge. They're usually harder than the fabric too. So, all right, I'm gonna pause the video while I rip the other ones. Okay, I am back. So I've got the 5 strips cut. This one never ripped. I think it's because it had this weird like painted stuff on there. And some purples. This one was fun. Had these lines on there, ripped fun. And then this is more of like a cotton one, but that one ripped pretty easily also. Okay, so I got my 5 pieces. Now the difference for the ribbon clasp, and I got a bronzy one because I thought it worked well with that, is I'm going to take a piece of wire. It's really thin wire. It's not very strong. You could probably use a string, thread, floss, whatever. But I'm going to tie this down the center to put it in the clasp. So we're going to do our best to make sure these are centered. And I'm going to just knot it like you normally would knot on a thing. Now the wire is actually kind of a little bit more difficult to wire or to do, but oh, that was badly centered. I knotted it once so that I can do that and see that it's probably cut one of them off, but that is a little bit more centered. Okay, so we're just going to knot it a couple times so it stays. And I cut the thread wire much longer than I needed. I'm going to cut some off here in the end just to make sure that I could get enough of a knot for it. Okay. All right, so we are going to cut it down, and I tried using my little wire cutters, but I think this wire was too thin before. Yeah, it's not working. So I'm going to have to use my scissors. I'm going to have to try my scissor sharpener though. My scissors are getting dull. Should not cut wire with scissors. Don't do as I do. Okay, so now we've got the little wires in here, and I'm going to put the wires inside of the pile, bunch, whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to fold it down, and I've got the fabric clasp. Now you might have to open it up a little bit bigger, but you should be able to work it in there. Yeah, I think it'll be okay. And once it gets in there, I'm going to close it. And squish it. Now I'm using these more flatter ones so I don't mark up the ribbon clasp. All right, squish away, squish away. Okay, Okay, that's pretty good. Now, like I said, this one was, a couple of them were a little bit longer, so we're just gonna trim them. And there we go. Now, they don't have to all be exact same length. If you want them very staggered, you can do that. But this is now about, yeah, between 5 and 6 inches long for that. And once again, we can just add a bulb pin to it and do it like that. We could add a jump ring onto this also if we wanted to, because it opens and it's got that little lap. But otherwise, you got a fun dangle. So, a couple different ways to use it. I love it. Let me put this in here. All right, let me show you all of the fun we have made today. All right, we got the purple. I didn't put a charm on that one, but just fun. And the blue one, where I put the moon and star, or moon and heart, and the, it's hard to tell, but it was a pretty big hole, so I was able to wedge a bit of that fabric up into there, like I said before. So we got that one. And I did this other ribbon clasp one. You can see I did put a fairly large jump ring on there so that it held the charm. Probably should have put a bronze one on there, but that is okay. And then last but not least, the pink one that we did. Very fun, very chic, very textural. I love it. Okay, well, there is one project from those fabric scraps that I have, and yeah, I love it. Okay, well, that is going to be it for me today. I appreciate each and every one of you that has stopped by, and as usual, I hope you all have a wonderful and creative day. Bye for now.